Hey everybody, today we're going to work with D minor pentatonic, which starts all the way up here on the 10th fret. Now, I've said I'm trying to save you time, so it's not important to learn a lot of theory, in my opinion. I'm basically giving you the patterns so that you don't have to go through learning the theory and the reasons why these patterns work over certain 12-bar blues progressions. And I do want to say that I think it's important to at least learn the notes on the low E string, which would also give you the notes on the high E string, so that you can know which key, well, whichever key you're going to start in, you'll know where pattern 1 starts, and all the other patterns flow together from pattern 1. Remember, they're all interconnected, patterns 1 through 5. So if you go all the way up the E string, in this case we use the low E string, there's your E, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, E, C sharp or D flat, D sharp or E flat, E, F sharp or G flat, G, and then we keep going. Remember, just look at your dot here. Your first dot after the open string is a G, and your first dot after the 12th fret there is also a G. It just starts over basically. Now you can, if you want to, learn all the notes on all the strings. I personally don't think it's worth the time. Just know which open string you're starting with and know how the notes go in order. Remember, there's only a half step between B and C, so B goes right to C. There's no sharp or flat in between there. In the same way between E and F, you only have a half step. All the other ones have a whole step in between, so the note in between can be called either a sharp or a flat, depending on whether you're referring to the previous note or the next note. Now, that's a lot of information, I know, but basically what I'm saying is a lot of that you don't need. You can just memorize the notes on the low E string, memorize the patterns. I would also know a little bit about the circle of fifths. You don't necessarily need to know why the circle of fifths works, but know that if you're changing keys and it's your choice, you are better off going to the next key in the circle of fifths, because the notes don't change that much, so it's not such a clash to your ears or to your audience, the ears of your audience. So for example, let's just look at these two notes. We have G, and then a fifth above G, we have D. So we have G and D. See how those sound beautiful together? There's two G's that are an octave apart, so those notes sound beautiful together as well. These sound really beautiful together. They're a fifth apart, and that's how we use. I mean, those are the three notes typically you use when you're playing your power chords, but if you know where to go when you're switching keys, it can be a lot more pleasant if you go from G. So if you're playing in G minor or G blues and you're doing G minor pentatonic, and then you go to D. Hear how those two keys don't have a lot of clashes in there, so you can go right from one to the other. Switching keys right. Anyway, I'm digressing a whole lot here. I didn't really want to go off the deep end on just giving you a brief explanation of why it's important to know a few things, but you don't have to know a whole lot about theory to be able to play the blues, to be able to play rock and roll. So Basically, as I said, we're going to be working with the key of D minor pentatonic. I'm going to talk a little bit more, and then I will throw it down over a 12-bar blues progression in D blues. It will have these chords, those three chords, and all the backing tracks I have played myself so that I don't have to worry about copyright infringements. But anyway, these pentatonic patterns in D minor start here. If we start, as I said, on the 10th fret with pattern 1, then we have pattern 2, once you're comfortable with going through all of these patterns, just try to do creative things with them. Hammer-ons and pull-offs, because that's what you'll hear me doing during my solos. And sliding in between the patterns. So there's pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4. Anyway, what I was getting at is try to create and not imitate. So once you learn the patterns, learn what you can do within those patterns, maybe listen to a backing track or just play around with them until you get comfortable, and then try to work on your timing over the backing tracks. But try to be creative. And well, let me go through the rest of these patterns first, and then I'll explain a couple of other things. So we had pattern 1 started here. We go backwards to pattern 5, pattern 4 again, pattern 3, and that's as far as I'll go, because as you know by now, I don't typically do the open notes during my solos. But when you're playing around, when you're getting used to knowing these patterns, just try to be creative, and you can use that kind of stuff in your solos. But I typically bend, I don't even think about what note it is, but there's only really one note within each pattern that I'll bend. And for example, in pattern 1 is that second note on the G string. That's the only note I bend in pattern 1 typically. I mean, I might go a quarter bend on some of the others, but typically, or a whole step bend. It's only that note on the G string, and I don't even think of what note it is. What note is that? That is E, F, F sharp, G. Is that a G, I think? That's E, F, F sharp, G. Yeah, that's G. See, I don't even think of what note it is. I just know that, well, it would have been easier rather than backtracking just to know that that's the open G string on the 12th fret. That's going to be a G note also. I was backtracking because I knew that was E, and then I did an octave higher anyway. I don't think about all that when I'm playing. I just know that on pattern 1, wherever I am, whatever key I'm in, I typically bend that G string, that note on the G string. Now I'm sliding into pattern 2. I normally only bend that second note on that E string on pattern 2, and that happens to be the same note. That's a G also. See, it's the same note. And then when I'm in pattern 3, only bend that one. Well, what do you know? It's always G. It's always that note that is a fifth away from the root note, which is D in this case. D is going to be where all of our root notes are, and I'm only bending on G. Pattern 4. Now it's on the B string, that second note on the B string in pattern 4, whether you're here or here. That's the only note I'll bend. Okay, that's a couple tips for the day. I probably went a little bit overboard there. we're already 10 minutes in and I haven't done the improv. But basically, I just gave you a couple tips. Now I'm just going to do a little improv and throw this. Basically, I'm going to throw some solos over this blues progression in D minor, as I said. Well, it's D blues. It's going to be D minor pentatonic over it. So let's see how it goes. Okay, there you have it. Lost my flow a little bit there when I dropped my pick, but that's okay. You should drop your pick once in a while, because if not, you're holding it too tight. Anyway, that's my excuse for the day. Let's see, what else can I say? Little tapping going on there too, by the way. And typically, I do triplets and try to stay on the same string. That's just my style. So keep that in mind as you're going through these patterns also. Maybe try to learn how many spaces, or I should say how many frets in between the notes when you're going between the patterns on the same string. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and I'll keep it going and keep trying to improve for you. Have a good day. Thanks.